piece of spaghetti on your overalls.
You, Luigi.
Not even fucking close.
You, Luigi.
Hey, welcome to This Week in Nerd History. This is a podcast where we take a look at all the big nerdy moments from the past, from the present, and even the future. I'm Mike, creative director at Dorkly and Lowbrow. Joining me, we got AJ, production manager at Lowbrow and lover of all things fun and weird and pop culture, and Sal, comic book aficionado and host over at Comic Pop. Guys, we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. We got a big anniversary with PlayStation 1. We got the Minecraft trailer, which is a thing that's very popular that I know nothing about.
It's a thing.
This is our first official episode. Technically, it's like our 8th.
We've been doing this for years.
Yeah. It's like some weird, like, purgatory thing where we're just, like,
we're trying
having
so
to record
hard.
a podcast that never airs. We recorded, like, a test thing, a pilot. We recorded a full episode last week, and I realized afterwards my microphone was all fucked up. So we couldn't use it, and that really sucked.
And it's all my fault.
It was absolutely AJ's fault. I was
Like,
I think
we're
Mike
just
blew
gonna
out his
keep-
mic
we're
just
gonna
from
keep
screaming
going.
at AJ.
Fix it!
And I was like,
What
oh,
made me
geez,
laugh
I
the
shouldn't say
most
anything.
with that comment is that, like, I literally can't imagine Mike screaming. Like, what does that look like? Like, I've
I was
seen him
pretty pissed
like
off.
yell,
Yeah.
like recording, but like
Yeah.
it's always as a character. I don't know, like, if I had to picture, like, what would make Mike really mad. I've seen terrible things happen when we work together, and I'd be like, oh man, this thing. I'll like come into your office. I'll be like, oh my god, this fucking. Can you believe how like I'll be so angry because of somebody's email or something, and I'll just be like all riled up, and you'll be like, yeah, that sucks. Like,
I could
so
totally
chill.
picture that. Just being like, yeah. Meanwhile, there are like 5 holes in the wall from each instance that
I'm
like,
the
yeah,
one
no, it's
punching the
cool.
holes. I'm angry. I'm riled up. Mike is very, very, very centered.
Especially like when you edited the whole show, and it's like when you're the operation and you're responsible for it, and then you're like, man, I think we nailed it, and then it's like it's not. I didn't just fuck it up, but like it's ruined. Like it can't be salvaged. I see red, and I'm like I can't. I'm like I have to leave the planet. Like, I don't know where else to go, and I'm just
I'm
like
gonna go
I need to.
disassociate for a little bit.
I get bonus eruptus,
That's when
like
I
my
get on my
skeleton wants
phone, and that's when I play Merge Mansion. Merge Mansion. If you want to sponsor us, Merge Mansion.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
play it
Please.
almost daily.
Ooh, hey,
It is
quick,
so-
easy segue. We have a sponsor for today's episode.
Hey.
Gamer Subs. We'll run an
Yes.
ad right now.
Howdy there, folks. Video James here. Sorry. Anyway, this week's video is brought to you by Gamer Subs. You know, sometimes I need that extra boost, and thankfully Gamer Subs delivers with 0 sugar and keto-friendly flavors that are fun for the whole family, like Arctic Cooler, Blowhole Blast, and Anime Girl Thigh. Okay, maybe not fun for the entire family, but either way, you can get some free samples with the promo code Dorkly. And don't forget to check out these waifu cups. Okay, now this makes sense. I hope. You can stop jumping whenever you'd like. That can't be good for your lower back. And for this week only, until September 13th, 2 p.m. Eastern, use the promo code Dorkly for free worldwide shipping. It's for a limited time only while supplies last. That's promo code Dorkly. Okay, now back to the show.
All right, we're back from the ad. That was Gamer Subs.
I hope that ad
showcases.
showcases the tea
Yeah.
leaves that look like boobies.
Right, get your waifu cups now.
So, with this being our first episode, we have an exclusive interview with the Mario from Super Mario Brothers.
What?
And from Nintendo, from all the Dorkly bits. So let's welcome in Mario.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Mario, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, sure thing. Let's just make this a quick. Nintendo is making me be a referee in a bowling game or some shit.
Yeah, it sounds like Nintendo keeps you pretty busy.
Yeah, you know, I can't complain. I'd much rather stomp turtles to death than be elbow deep in a toilet.
Hey Mario, I'm Sal. I've always wanted to ask you, is your last name pronounced Mario or Mario?
Neither. It's Mario.
Mario Mario?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Hi, Mr. Mario. AJ here. Do you ever feel bad for jumping off of Yoshi's back when you're going over a jump and just letting him fall to his death?
No. I mean, it looks bad, but Yoshi always hatches again and rejoins me later to save the princess.
Oh, okay, that's great, because I was going
Oh,
to...
sure, he retains the memories of each death, and every time he rehatches, he comes back with another piece of his soul missing, becoming an empty husk, longing to shuffle off this mortal coil once and for all.
That Luigi sure is a goofball, huh?
He's actually very smart. You guys are way too mean to him.
All right, this is a fucking disaster.
Yeah, let's
Bye, Mario Mario.
Let's get out of here.
All right, so that was our Mario interview. That went perfectly fine. That was great. So, on a different topic, we were talking about it in the episode that you'll never see. But,
Unless you subscribe to our Patreon.
No,
No,
that's
'cause
another
this is
one.
the-
No,
this is
you
the
won't
episode
ever
that
anyway.
I've burned the files.
we can't let the other episode, or lest it send Mike into a blind rage.
I literally took the whole computer and put it in a trash can and lit it on fire like it was.
Put it in a bathtub
Evidence
full
in a
with lye.
Yeah.
It falls through the ceiling.
Yeah. So it is gone for. Those are gone forever.
But do join the Patreon, though. There's plenty of great stuff.
Do
to
it.
Yeah.
Do it anyway.
If you want to see me burn stuff in a barrel, join our Patreon. It's fantastic.
you-
All right. Speaking of Mario, let's take a quick look at the masterpiece that
film
was
that.
the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Yeah, when Mike and I were kids, corporate America was like, make a show or movie about everything, but let the most insane people be in charge of it. And so when like Super Mario became a thing, like a household name, they were like, make a show about it. And you were like, sure, yeah, cartoon, got it, boom. And they're like, no, but with like live action segments in between for the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. And so this is like from the first episode, and it's Mario and Luigi in their basement level apartment, which also doubles as their office, and they're arguing with each other. And in the opening, first show ever, Mario just drops the F-bomb at Luigi, and they're like, "Oh, put a sound effect from one of the video games over it, and that'll be enough."
All right,
And
so here we
it
go.
was just like, and it just left. It's been there for 40 years.
Time for a new day. But as we always say, neatness counts. That's right, Mario. And by the way, have a little piece of spaghetti on your overalls. You, Luigi. And you have a little bit of spaghetti sauce.
Okay, they don't even bleep it. They don't even bleep it. But the canned laughter is so loud, they're like, "Oh, they didn't hear it."
They didn't hear.
My
Oh,
God.
fuck you, Mo.
But this isn't a stage show. This
was-
is filmed.
I was first. So, fun fact about this set: it was then repurposed as the apartment in Friends.
Yeah. Well, they never threw anything away. I just went into the back lot. But yeah.
I saw some other video just searching for this one last night, and I saw a couple people trying to like break it down or whatever, and people were saying like, "No, he says thank you, Luigi." I'm like, "No, he fucking doesn't. It's not even close."
He is
my
real
sweet summer
angry.
child, thank you for your innocence, but no, he most certainly does not.
He does
I also love like he has spaghetti, like just, and it's not even like it's dressed. Like, come on, like they're Italian.
It's also directly on his little red overall strap, because if it was on his shirt, you wouldn't have seen it. You'd be like, "What are you
notice it."
talking about?" Unless it was
Exactly.
covered in sauce, in which case, then you got to change your shirt. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. Yeah.
That's right, Mario. And by the way, have a little piece of spaghetti on your overalls. You, Luigi.
Not even fucking close.
Fuck you, Luigi. Like,
I love
okay.
it's 15 seconds into the first episode.
15
It's like,
seconds,
sure.
you lost the narrative. And also 0 to 100. He's like, "Hey man, you have literal pasta on your clothes," and he's like,
Fuck you, Luigi.
Trying to help you, you
Fuck
dick.
you.
"Help you." Well, and that wasn't even the weirdest live-action Mario adaptation, of course, because then we get like the full-on Blade Runner Jr. Mario movie, which is like, what the hell are you doing?
So creepy.
Bizarre.
I think it's a pretty well-known, like, fun fact about that movie was like the boots that the Goombas are wearing. Those actual boots were the same boots used in Face Off in the big magnetic prison. So you got like Nick Cage and Travolta walking around in Goomba boots.
Yes.
Like somebody was working on Face Off, and they're like, wait, I have a boot that will work from
Yeah.
this weird niche movie I did back a few
Yes.
years ago.
You know, someone from the prop
pull
department was
them
like, I
in.
walk past those boots every day.
Every day.
I'm
We're putting them
they're
in.
the Mario boots.
I mean, that's like when I did theater in college, that was like kind of the thing. Like when you're working through like a prop closet and shit, like you see something cool and you're like, I need this to be used.
Absolutely.
yeah.
I love stuff like that when they like reuse something from an older movie or whatever, just random shit. Or like, you know, it's been like done to death in Star Wars, but like the ice cream maker thing, and they used it in The Mandalorian. There was AJ, if you don't know, like was it Empire Strikes Back, I think? Like, there's a character in, like, Cloud City. There's, like, people evacuating Cloud City and stuff. And there's a guy running by, and he's just carrying this, like, container thing. And it was an actual, like, I don't know the mechanics of it, but it was like an ice cream maker. That it just looked, like, techie and 70s enough to fit into the Star Wars world.
Yeah, I remember what my ice cream maker looked like when I was a kid. That thing looked like it belonged on a spaceship for sure.
Bingo.
So it became this thing where like people realized what the prop actually was, and it was known in like the Star Wars fandom. And then in Mandalorian season 1, they used that and had like an actual like purpose for it and stuff. Like it opens up and there's like credits and stuff inside or whatever.
Fun little Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Look, we're trying to learn a little bit on this podcast. It's not all
We're
just
learning things. I'm learning
makes Mike
about ice
angry.
cream makers.
All right, so this segment is Yesterday in Nerd History. This is where we take a look back at big nerdy moments that happened in and around this time in history. And today's episode, we're going to be talking about the PlayStation 1, which was released in America on September 9th, 1995, which was 29 years ago, which is horrifying. Some crazy stuff here that I didn't actually know. Sony and Nintendo actually first worked together on developing the PlayStation. Did you guys know that?
That sounds familiar now that you mention it, but I never would have come up with that on my own.
Yeah, it was
really
nuts.
cool.
So it was called PlayStation with like just a space between play and station. That was like the big change, I guess. So like Sony and Nintendo were developing it. This was like in 91. They kind of saw what was coming down like technologically and everything, where like CDs were going to be able to hold so much more data and like, you know, you can do better graphics and all this kind of stuff. So they were developing that stuff, and there was like a big E3 or Comic-Con or those kind of things where it's like a big announcement kind of thing. And they announced, I think Sony announced that they were like working on it with Nintendo, and Nintendo started to get paranoid that Sony was trying to muscle in on the gaming world. So Nintendo, the next day, according to the shit that I read, the next day Nintendo like broke the deal off with Sony and then teamed up with Philips to continue working on something else.
Oh, wow.
And then Sony went on, and like other places were doing it too, but like Sony went on to continue to develop like 3D graphics and CDs and all that kind of stuff. It was like, obviously it like took off right away. It was the first ever home console to sell over 100 million units globally. But I thought that was so crazy that like Nintendo, if they just kind of stuck with it, they could have, you know, been, they were already like the, you know, a huge leader in the gaming atmosphere and everything, gaming world.
Right.
And then they could have been right there with CDs like right instead of Sony in there. But
yeah, I think that's really cool. I myself never owned a PlayStation because my parents regretted getting me a Nintendo. They got one, you know, and I played it, and they were like, "What's he doing sitting there playing video games for all day?" And I'm like, "You bought it.
Bought
It's-
it for
I'm using it, yeah.
And then I got the Genesis, and everybody else was just whizzing past me with the Super Nintendo, and I was here playing Sonic. Like, well, he's fast. This will be fun. And then the N64, I played a lot of that, and they were just, my parents were like not keyed into the idea of like keeping up. You know, they were like, "We bought you the video
you have
game
a thing.
machine."
That's the thing.
It's essentially, it's like a bike. It's like, look,
Who
you've
needs
got the bike.
graphics?
Like, it's not
Yeah,
going to get, it works, it's got gears.
Yeah,
it's
but
a
you
bike.
need 10
literally-
speeds. You
That
need
must
a
be-
little add-in that like has a little motor for when you're going
Yeah.
uphill and you can't make it.
That's 100% how they treated it, though, where it was like, it would be like if I asked them for a new bike that is indiscernibly different every 3 years.
It is indiscernible for them. They're like,
For
you
them,
have
yeah.
the
I know,
thing.
yeah.
Keep playing the
But I'm
games.
like, if you look at the screen, it actually is noticeably different.
They're like, you don't.
know.
You. That's just because you're sitting in front of the TV and you're fucking with your eyes.
Right. And actually, you're way too close. So,
Yeah,
you know,
you're way too close, so it doesn't
Why don't
matter.
you mow the lawn? Do you guys have like a favorite PlayStation game that you played on that console that was not necessarily, wasn't like Crash Bandicoot?
Tell us in the comments.
Oh, yeah, that's a great, yeah. What was your favorite? Thank you, AJ. That is perfect.
What
Call
was
to
your
action.
favorite call to action? Tell us what you
I'd like to
played.
describe.
I played. This is going to sound for obvious reasons, but it wasn't really. I played Tomb Raider a lot, not for the big pixelated pointy boobs, but I actually love those sort of like adventure discovery type games, that sort of stuff.
Like the first time I remember like really watching a game was when I watched my boyfriend in college play Silent Hill, and I loved it so much. We went to his sister's apartment, and she lived in this like place that was like in the middle of nowhere, so we went to like watch her place for the weekend, but we would just like turn off all the lights and like make the gradient like really really dark, and he would just play Silent Hill, and we would just scare the crap out of ourselves because we're literally in this area where it's like farmland, and like next door there was this guy that randomly went out into his barn in the middle of the night, and we're like, we're gonna die out here. It was so fun.
Oh, that's so great. My wife grew up on like she loved Silent Hill and that whole world, and that was like one of those things. I didn't know her at the time. You know, I was like, Silent Hill was like a Trojan that came with my Resident Evil CD. Like we played Resident Evil, and it was like, you can also play Silent Hill if you want. And I'm like, oh, cool, yeah. Well, I'm having such a blast with Resident Evil, shooting zombies and stuff. Let's go, solving puzzles. And I'm a guy running through fog until I died. And I'm like, what the? This isn't a game. This is just a horror experience. And they're like, that's right. It's a horror experience.
I loved it.
Wasn't that scary? And I'm like, yeah.
I gotta ask the question that I think everyone's going to be asking in the comments. How much were you guys playing Disney's Tarzan?
Not at all.
Play it at all.
I just think that's
But again, I was
scrolling
dependent
through
on what
the
they were
games
buying.
that came out in '99. It's like that one just seems so out of place of everything else. Like, why was this? They're like, we gotta put something in to get the little kids in here. Like,
Look, if you
everything
played
else
Resident
is
Evil,
like,
if you played Silent Hill, you're playing Tarzan.
you're definitely playing it.
Sliding
It's a
down
bundle
trunks. And, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
It was a crazy underrated game. It was very just different and stupid. Was Die Hard? I don't know if anybody.
Oh yes.
Because it was so different because they went through 3 movies, and each movie had a very different gameplay style, and it was pretty bad. But I played it a lot. But it was like one like the what's the one? The third one with Sam Jackson in it
With a Vengeance.
with Vengeance. Yeah. So that one, like you're in a cab and you're driving through New York and you're driving through like Central Park and stuff. And then there was like the first one where it's more like like second person, I guess, or whatever, where you're like kind of in Nakatomi Towers and you gotta go in and out of rooms and stuff. I block out Die Hard 2 because I hate that movie.
But he kills somebody with an icicle. It's awesome.
The only way to kill someone.
Video games taught me that I was a big idiot because I never wanted to play any, because I was like, oh, missed, let's go, and then I'd be like, here we go, and I'm like, I can't get through the menu. I stink.
You can't get through the menu.
You know, they're like, oh, let's just, let's give them a little puzzle, to show them what the game's like, to get your pinch your name or whatever, and I'm like, I can't even start the game. I hate it.
You sounded just like the SpongeBob. Oh,
Brother, this guy stinks!
That's right. That was just me. That was my self-doubt, just yelling in my ear.
All right, so this segment is Today in Nerd History, and this is where we're talking about all the nerdy stuff that's happening right now in the nerdosphere. So we got a new comic series from Marvel, Aliens vs. Avengers, that looks pretty awesome, right, Sal?
Marvel acquired the licenses for both Alien and Predator because, of course, Disney acquired Fox. That wasn't necessarily a done deal. Like, when we heard that Disney is going to start making, like, Alien and Predator movies, we were like, good luck. In any case, the comics, Marvel has been making Predator and Alien books and not crossing them over, but they had just recently done the Predator versus Wolverine story, and now we're doing Alien versus Avengers. And Predator versus Wolverine is fun, it's like a big slugfest, Wolverine cutting Predator, sure, okay, whatever. It's fun, but this Aliens Avengers book, the weird thing is that the creative team from the hugely successful Marvel book story event thing that's going to be the template for the upcoming movie Secret Wars, Jonathan Hickman and Asad Ribic made the Aliens Avengers comic. And so Jonathan Hickman, for those of you who don't know, is like a massive planner, powerhouse, force to be reckoned with when it comes to writing and creating, especially at Marvel, but also like anything he does just turns to gold. And the fact that like Hickman can write his own ticket and do whatever he wants, and he was like, I want to do Aliens versus Avengers. We were all like, I'm sorry, what? Because you could literally do anything. And you're doing this? And he's like, uh-huh. And unsurprisingly, it's effing dope.
That's great.
It's awesome.
It's great news.
And weird. Because, like, you think, okay, sure, what do you think? I don't know, the Avengers are out in space, they're fighting, I don't know, the Shi'ar, whatever, and then, or the Brood, because in Marvel, they created these aliens called the Brood, because they clearly just xenomorph envy. Marvel, they were like, ooh, we really want to put aliens in our comic book for the X-Men, but, like, we need them to be intellectually distinct from the xenomorph, and so they created the Brood. Clearly, the Brood were inspired by xenomorphs, but they're like a hive mind, and they're telepathic, and they get infinitely more complicated, unfortunately, the further away from the source material you get. But now they're like, oh, we could just do xenomorphs. But this is, like, a dark alternate future where, like, secret Weyland-Yutani robots impersonating Shi'ar aliens, for those of you who don't know. I'm sorry.
I was
You're in it,
following
you're in
you a little bit up to here. Now I'm starting to... But keep going, keep going.
The Shi'ar are a
I'm
race...
fully invested, even though I only understand 50% of the words you're saying.
That's
Now,
how it goes.
Comic books are... I'm just making
My revulsion for you just built like a bile in my throat. I was like, sorry, is this... Are you messing with me?
You read
Michael
them,
Douglas
right?
glasses
There
wearing motherfucker.
are some words.
But anyway, that's another callback. Check out Patreon. But it does actually. So there's a race of bird people named the Shi'ar, and they're like, a force to be reckoned with in the galaxy. But it turns out they're actually robots. The point is, the xenomorphs were unleashed across the Marvel universe at some point in the present, and as a result, it annihilated everybody. And so on Earth, 25 years later, there's only one stronghold left, and it's the Weyland-Yutani. That's the company that made the, spaceships that go see aliens and stuff. But the Weyland-Yutani, like, stronghold tower is like the last bastion of human civilization, and it's just, there's Avengers and superpower people in there, and, like, Weyland, and the xenomorphs are just completely overrun the Earth. And so it's just watching the Avengers kind of, like, try to come up with a solution and proving that it would not work, because for 25 years they've been just hammered. It's a weird choice to be like, let's set it in a dystopian future of Marvel to fight the xenomorphs, but at the same time it's like such an engaging story, and the art is so top tier that it's just like, I did not see that coming.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, that is awesome, like, just going through that whole setup of it. And thank you for running through all that, because that was
I'm sorry.
a lot to go through.
I don't know about you guys,
it
but I'm going to have to listen to that
well.
at least 3 times to get it all.
Yeah,
That was dense.
You will be
It was
missing it.
densely filled with info.
My lighting system got mad at me for that.
I will at some point, if I
You're
could
absorbing
get
all
into
the power
people's
out of it.
brains and like search through the little filing cabinets that I believe are in their brains, yours would be chock full of all kinds of info that
Yeah.
I
Just the
want
comic
to know
stats.
all of it. Let's
Yeah,
get it
it's a
out
mess.
there.
I like that approach, though, of just like, I'm always like a fan of I know it's done a ton of times and stuff, but it's always just interesting, like this dystopian future, that sort of stuff, and like, stuff has run its course, like, because that feels,
It
xenomorphs
feels
were on Earth, they would
eventual. It
fucking
feels
take
like
over
an eventuality.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get some cool stuff, and they're like Spider-Man's in it also and stuff like that. Like Spider-Man gets a rad new costume that would not exist without the aliens, and it's like, that's really cool.
That's pretty
what a
cool.
cool idea that I never would have thought of, and I can't believe it's in this weird book that by all rights shouldn't exist, but here it is, and cool. I'm just like, yeah, that's dope.
And so when this came, I looked online, so there's like two issues out already, or
The first issue is out. I think the second issue drops soon.
okay, gotcha.
No, not soon.
Not
Soon at all. It's
Oh,
gonna take
really?
forever. I think it comes out in like November.
Oh, that is forever for sure. I thought you meant like years.
Yeah, no. But I gotta wait. Normally comics come out like monthly.
Yeah.
Or bi-monthly. But like, yeah, no, they need more time to draw it. And I'm like,
For a run like this, for like a series like this, do they say ahead of time like how long it's going to be, or?
oh yeah, so they try to.
They've
try
got
to
that
make it
planned
interesting,
out.
too. Like it's 4 issues.
That's
Gotcha.
it.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, no. I once I get like a book like this, first day it comes out, I'm like, no, okay. Like,
One more time.
no.
All right, so we watched the Minecraft trailer. I'm just going to save everybody 90 seconds and just speed through this part because it's got a Beatles song in it, and obviously we can't play it, so here we go. That is absolutely muted. I'm fairly certain we don't have rights to Beatles music.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no. Well, I gotta say, that's the number one thing that made me excited about it is I love the Beatles songs in general. This is a song that I love and I feel like doesn't get a lot of play. And so I'm like excited that now like kids will be familiar with it. And maybe sometimes you got to put a Beatles song into a movie that may or may not be shitty just because it can be the gateway to get an entire generation to start listening to the Beatles again. They have so many amazing songs that I love.
That's a great point. I mean, that is like, if your parent isn't a Beatles, like if you're a kid who is big into Minecraft and stuff, which I'm sure is a billion kids, but like
a lot of them.
if your parents aren't into the Beatles, like there's a really good chance you're not familiar with any of their songs. So like this might be your only exposure to them, which is
Right.
It's a great point because like otherwise they're missing out.
Well, it's just like, haven't they been so prohibitively expensive? Like they've made movies about Beatles music that have features no Beatles music. Isn't like Across the Universe? Like they actually have, they're all covers.
Yeah.
Like we gotta celebrate the Beatles, but we can't afford to play any of that shit. So
back to the Minecraft movie. Here's what I hope it is and what I hope it isn't, okay? If they go along the lines of like the Sonic franchise, if they go along the lines of even the Mario movie, I had very low expectations for Mario and I feel like they did fantastic. They played a lot to, what fans wanted, and they did well because of that, I think. But they didn't like have a shitty story. All you need for the Minecraft movie is a decent story and then just throw in a bunch of Minecraft jokes. That's all you need. Like, it doesn't need to be, it shouldn't be like, this is about Minecraft. Like,
right.
Nobody wants that. Like, what I assume the Emoji Movie is, because I've never seen it. And it's one of the things that I'm like, I can't, what? There's no.
The Emoji Movie is actually a pretty scathing take on late stage capitalism.
Is it? Maybe I should see it. I mean, these are the kinds of movies that I'm like, you know what? I'll take a gummy and maybe I should watch. Let's get together and watch the Emoji Movie, Mike.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'll need something for that.
I'll need something.
I feel like,
but like, I don't want it to be that. I don't want it to be Minecraft for the sake of Minecraft. I want a good story and then throw in a bunch of Minecraft jokes and then kids will love it. It should be fun.
they're going for like, people love Jack Black. People love Jason Momoa, so like they're putting them in there. Jason Momoa looks freaking funny.
Looks tired.
With it.
It's like, what the fuck, man? I was supposed to be Aquaman. We're supposed to make an Aquaman 3, man. And now I'm in the Minecraft movie wearing Ken's rejected blazer.
I feel like, is it in his contract to always have his chest showing?
I think that's just one of those things where it's like,
if you aren't
we're paying
using
for
it,
Jason
you're
Momoa.
paying
We're
for
gonna
it.
show that chest.
We're gonna do it.
Show that chest. So we got some cool Sal news. Sal, you want to plug what's going on with you and Terminator?
Oh, sure. Thank you. Yeah. I'm writing the backup story. So there's going to be like the main story, which is like more pages. And then I wrote a 10-page story that they're breaking up into 2 pages per issue. So for the first 5 issues, you'll get 2 pages of my 10-page story. And it's a completely separate story that's kind of like part of the same universe, kind of same like, narrative. But, it's that one's what I did. And then you get the main book from what Declan Shalvey's doing. But
That is so cool. That's
it's
awesome.
coming out in October. I have no business being anywhere near this because I
You
love
can't
Terminator.
say that if you're in it,
Don't
man.
sell
Like
yourself
people
short, man.
believe in
I know, but
yourself. Also,
I
have a huge question because for someone who will like read things, like I'll buy comics as like little one-off things that like I I'm not the type of person who's buying like a lot of stuff. Well, I'll usually wait till if somebody says like, oh, this series is really good, then I'll buy like the full compilation once it's done. Also, I hate waiting for things, so that's also a problem. But like I got like a Steven Universe comic for my son because we love and watch Steven Universe, and it'll have like a little bit piece. So I'm wondering like if you have a 10-page comic that you've written and you know it's going to be broken up into 2-page interstitials, do you write it such that, you know, at the end of 2 pages, you've got kind of like a little bit of a cliffhanger thing? Or do you have your 10-page story and where it's cut and like, fuck you if you're reading? Like, do you take that into consideration? Are you...
Yeah, the fact that it's 10 pages, I had to like really condense everything. Like my first pitch was like essentially a 6-issue miniseries, and they were like, it's 10 pages. And I'm like, right.
Whoops.
Did I quietly send that to you, hoping maybe you might go, this kid's got moxie, and then give me this 6-issue miniseries? Maybe, but I appreciate that. Like, this isn't what we agreed upon, sir. And I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough. You can squash me back. I got it. No problem. 10 pages. I can do that too. But I used to write webcomics, and even then, like, the webcomics that I would work on were essentially just an ongoing saga, like an actual comic book. And for my part, like, you know, you had to wait for the art to come in because I can't. Like, no. But, you know, the art comes in, and then I had to release it, and that's content, you know? So it's like, if it's just page 16 of a 78-page story, you know, it might not be terribly satisfying to, like, new readers to show up and read page 16 as, like, the daily dose of content. But at the same time, you're not, like, thinking about that. Like, I realized if you put it together, it's going to read insane. If every page is kind of, like, almost kind of self-contained or has, like, its own little, like, mini narrative. And so as a result, like, this is one of those things where I just wrote 10 pages. And I was like, I was aware of every other, like, I was like, it's going to be 2 pages apiece. So I tried not to have it be like the first page of the next issue would be just something in media res. Like, I didn't want it to be like in the middle of an action scene or in the middle of something that they wouldn't have any context for. So, like, I mean, primarily the 10 pages are just action. It's just fighting for like 10 pages. Because, like, it's my first name on an actual published piece of fiction, so I really don't want to get like pretentious and stupid with it, or like try and like overextend. Like, every time I like kind of lamented because I
everybody
put it out there,
out and buy this now.
Please do, yeah. Yes. By the way, final order cutoff is September 16th, which means basically like comic book stores, they like order the books based on what people how many books people tell them. So, you know, you got to pre-order it, but or you can just go to your comic book store on October 9th and just it's the one that has a big Terminator on it. Like, that's the cover.
Sal, you'd be a good brain to pick for this. I had an idea for a Dorkly bit, but the whole game of the script was that the Terminator, the robots, kill all the humans, and then they don't know what to do. Like, they've completed, and then they're like, all right, now what? And then they're just trying to figure out, yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's a great idea. Them just like reading or trying to like play sports. Like, it just gets, and then they have to invent like a technology that like does things for them because they're all like, you know, they have to invent their own Skynet again. And
that's awesome.
Right?
That's fucking perfect. They do all that. They make their own Skynet, and then it happens all again.
And it blows up. And they're like, oh no!
There's a time traveling robot that needs to stop. That needs to talk
the
to
other robots.
It's so convoluted.
Yeah, it just becomes a complete fucking mess where it's like we have to go back. It's
shit.
Yeah, there you go.
That is fucking great.
And your turnaround is sick. Like, you'll be like, hey, I think I'm about doing this thing, and then like 2
It'll
weeks
just
later
be
the cartoon exists. And I'm like, ah!
Yeah.
How?
That's sort of just the pace that we've always been used to. Like Sonic for Hire, we would write on a Monday and then have the episode done by that Friday, and it would air on that Saturday, and just do that for the season. Like, that was our pace. And that was a lot for like the early ones, especially when they were like 90 seconds long or whatever. But now they're like 7 or 8 fucking minutes to take forever, which I guess I should give a proper update. We are still doing the season. We're finishing the season. Everything got pushed around when we took over Dorkly. But this past week we had Mike William, the voice of Sonic, in the studio. He recorded episodes 9 and 10. We're doing 12 episodes for this season. So he'll record 11 and 12 at some point, but we got those. I did my audio for 9. I got to reach out to Caldwell Tanner and Chris Wilson from Cyanide to be Luigi and the Dean. And I'll see if they're available, because honestly, like the last time they recorded was like 2 fucking years ago. So if there's a good chance they're going to be like, I'm busy, I can't record this stuff. So if that is the case, we'll do what we normally do. We'll just have somebody else be the voice and call it out. Be like, what's wrong with your voice? And then that's it. a lot of precious,
I have a cold.
I have a cold.
I do appreciate the meta commentary within.
Yeah.
Yeah, we call out the time that it's taken between episode 8 and episode 9. We call that out like 4 or 5 times in these last 4 episodes.
Nice.
Because you just kind of have to.
This makes, I think, a good segue to a Q&A. We've got this question. I'd like to know more about you guys separating from College Humor / Dropout. I know there was probably no drama, but I'm curious as to what the process was like. First of all, you're wrong. So much drama. Oh,
Exactly.
shoot.
I wasn't even there and I heard about it. Yeah.
So no, it was very easy, a very easy transition. We've worked with College Humor forever. Dropout now, I still call them College Humor because at the time they're College Humor, and we were involved with Dorkly right from the beginning. The whole like initial idea behind Dorkly was we did like a 5-minute sort of pilot proof of concept where it was just Dorkly bits, just short animated things. So a lot of all the ones pretty much that are online now were from that pilot. So like the Excite Bike one where it's him in the shop and he's talking to the guy, the Kirby one, there's all these like 5 or 6 ones that we did. And the name of the show was called Game Face. And it was pitched to G4 and they passed on it and stuff like that. So then we just had these bits and College Humor was like, we like doing these a lot. So we're just going to kind of chop them up. We'll make a separate site called Dorkly. That went on for 12, 13 years, however long. And we were deeply involved in all that stuff, animating, directing, all that stuff, kind of adjusting the scripts to make it easy for production because it's fast turnaround, not a big budget, all that kind of stuff. And then when College Humor in 2019, 2020, they lost their corporate backing. So Dorkly was just sort of dying on the vine a little bit. And it would be episodes every week, and then episodes every other week, and then maybe like a compilation every 3rd week or whatever like that. And so in 2023, I approached Sam and asked him about acquiring the channel, and he was like, "Yeah, it makes total sense. It fits right into our production pipeline here anyway. It's our sense of humor." So it really didn't change all that much. It was really, really a smooth transition, and it was sort of a model. And
you had said, sorry to interrupt, but you had said that he actually had thought about approaching you years before, but didn't, right?
So yeah, I guess a couple years before, during that time, when they were putting that focus into Dropout, we had tried to help them a little bit too by just posting, because we started doing our lowbrow originals, and we were like, hey, can we just, if you guys aren't posting this week, can you guys just repost one of our videos? It helps out our channel, that kind of thing, and you guys can keep the ad rev that is generated from it. So I think during that time they were kind of figuring out that they weren't going to continue with Dorkly, and it just made sense. So I wish they did, would have got us an extra couple years in the under our belts for it. But
and it was essentially no change in how things were run for the 2 years before it was official. I feel because I was here in house. I was when I was new, we were always doing Dorkly bits, and then it became this thing in the office of this deal is gonna go through, but don't talk about it, hush hush. And then it's all right, it's gone through, but we're not gonna tell anyone yet because we don't want to freak anybody out. We're just gonna keep going as usual. And then announcement, but surprise, we've actually been doing it for a long time. But now it's just official.
Thanks everybody for listening and watching. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, be sure to leave a comment. It helps us out a ton. Thanks to GamerSupps for sponsoring the video as well. If you got any questions for us for next episode, any topics you guys want us to talk about, let us know in the comments. We really appreciate it. Check out our Patreon. We'll do little extra bits that get edited out of this episode. We'll save them and put them on Patreon. You get early release stuff. You get merch discounts, all that cool stuff. Sal, what do you want to plug?
I guess just swing on by your local comic book store on October 9th and pick up a copy of Terminator. I'm in that. I'm not physically in it, but I wrote it. Not the big one, the little one. But
I expect to open the book and a small U pops out and
just me
falls
being
on the desk.
Let me tell you more about the Shi'ar and the Star Chambers.
I'm so glad you brought them back.
And if you want, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/comic.
AJ, what do you want to plug?
I want to plug going to see your dentist twice a year. It's very important. This can be a AJ. What is it? Mama AJ's PSAs. Listen, kids.
Here we go.
Go to your dentist twice a year. Usually, if you have insurance, it should be covered. You don't even have to pay for it. Just go to the dentist twice a year.
All right, gang. Thanks again.
We like you, and we hope you like us.
We can.
Wow.
That was me saying we can.
Wild West. Jim
can
West,
rap.
Desperada, Rough Rider. No, you don't want nada. None of this. None of this.
Hang on.
Brother, none of
Hang on.
this.
Wait, what is happening?
Buffalo
What is
Soldier.
happening? Do you
what?
know the Wild Wild West
Like
song?
all the lyrics?
The lyrics?
Most of it, not all of it. Join our Patreon to get
The whole deal.
all the singing that AJ does.